And tonight's our editorial is on the Move Short Commission report on the Ayawaso West Wuogon by-election violence and government white paper, which rejects over 58% of the recommendations.
It has been 9 months since the violence that characterized the Ayawaso West Wuogon by-election occurred. But the memories are still fresh in the minds of many Ghanaians. It's not hard to see why. It was one of the bloodiest, if not the most bloody election witnessed in this country. And it was a dent on our hard-earned image as one of the most respected democracies on a continent regarded as not adhering to tenets of democracy. The events of 31st January 2019 shocked many of us to our very core. We were enraged and we promised ourselves never again would we allow this to happen. So it was with a lot of hope that many welcomed the establishment of the 3-member committee comprising former Shraj boss and High Court Judge Emil Short, respected law lecturer Henrietta Mensah Bonsu, and former Inspector General of Police Patrick Kwarteng Achampong. They earned the trust and confidence of Ghanaians, many of whom followed the proceedings. So it came to many as a surprise when a white paper issued by government recently in response to the recommendations by the Commission rejected at least 58.9% of the findings. More on that shortly, but what beats the minds of many is the main response of government to the findings of the report, which states, quote,
"The fundamental response of government to the findings of the report is that the report failed to address the first and most critical of the terms of reference of the Commission, which was to make a full, faithful, and impartial inquiry into the circumstances of and establish the facts leading to the events and associated violence that occurred during the Ayawaso West Wuogon by-election on the 31st day of January 2019. The failure to do so disables the government from accepting in whole the findings of the Commission."
Consider this position against the government's own description of the committee members it selected when Vice President Bawumia swore them in earlier this year.
Of course, in doing this, the president had to look for people of impeccable integrity. So we know that the terms of reference says that you should complete this work in a month.
I would also like to express my appreciation to the words of confidence that you have expressed in us, particularly your statement that we have been selected because we are considered to be men and women of integrity. We would like to assure all and sundry that we shall carry out our mandate transparently, objectively, and in a fair manner.
So it begs the question, is government saying the Commission members who they described as impeccable did a poor job? How does their response reflect on the Commission's work, which many have described as respectable? Will this kind of critique encourage others or other people who are respected persons of integrity to offer their time and expertise when they are called upon to do so? We make the point that even though government is allowed to issue a white paper, many thought calling for an impartial investigation would mean government will trust the findings of the Commission. Government accepted or partly accepted 16 recommendations of the Commission, including the need to compensate some victims affected by the violence. We applaud them for that, but it rejects at least 23 others, including the call for the SWAT team at the National Security to be disbanded, particularly for election-related activities, and we all know why. Listen to the leader of the SWAT team, DSP Samuel Kojo Azugu, conceding to the Commission that his men did not act professionally.
SP, how did your men handle these citizens of Ghana?
It was not in the proper manner. They did not handle them in a professional way, the way they were taught to.
Did your men beat these people up?
No, sir. Their idea of minimum force that we saw on TV was too much for all of us.
Another aspect of the white paper that puzzles many is the rejection of the Commission's recommendation for the security operative who assaulted Ningo Prampram Member of Parliament, Sam George, to be prosecuted. Listen to the MP's account when he came before the Commission.
I noticed a gentleman standing to my left was hit by one of the security operatives standing there. I was trying to understand what was going on when another officer dressed in black, who I have gone ahead to identify as Mohammed Sule, the son of the late Nantona, and an operative of the national security apparatus who was on operation that day, assaulted me. He hit me the first time. And I approached him back and asked him, why are you hitting me? What is my offense? And he hit me a second time.
Well, the national security official who was seen by many assaulting the Member of Parliament will walk free because, quote, it was a valid defense of provocation for the assault. But what is the implication of this decision to the ordinary man on the street?
Though that slap, how they call? Sam George. The man should be called punished. But the white paper came out trying to protect the person rather. At the long run, it will look as if anytime someone does something wrong onto you, you can take law into your hand.
Many were those who were confident that the Commission's work will restore some hope across the political divide and help avert similar occurrences going forward. But with the lack of political will to implement fully the recommendations of the committee, that hope has been vanquished.